Low energy, unfocused, foggy? You might be dehydrated. Whether it's hot yoga, over 100-degree weather, or too much sun. Gatorlight, with a specialized blend of 5 electrolytes, was scientifically designed to help move fluids into the body faster for rapid rehydration. Shop now at retailers nationwide. Gatorlight hydrates faster than water. Is it in you? Symptoms noted are signs of mild to moderate dehydration. Consult a healthcare professional if symptoms persist.
Pros, find the right flooring for the job in Lowe's newly redesigned flooring showroom. Shop our expanded assortment of trusted brands and get up to 35% off style selections, Stainmaster, and Stainmaster Pet Protect Special Order Carpet. And while you're here, save $100 on a DeWalt 20-volt max 6-amp-hour 2-pack of batteries. Now just $179. Get more of what you need faster and save more where it counts from the ground up. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 8/26 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
This message is brought to you by Apple Card. Shave ice by the beach. A trip to the state fair. And a throwback flick at the local drive-in. They're more than just items to check off the summer bucket list. They're also opportunities to earn 2% daily cash back when you use your Apple Card with Apple Pay. Apply for Apple Card now and use in-minutes with Apple Pay. Subject to credit approval. Apple Card is issued by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, Salt Lake City branch. Terms and more at applecard.com.
From the Fifth Quarter Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to Coach Unplugged. And now, your host, Steve Collins.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Coach Unplugged. Happy Friday, episode 631. Today, we're doing a one-on-one call with Coach Moore. I think you'll really enjoy this. But before we do that, I would like to give a big shout out to our 2 sponsors. First of all, Dr. Dish, the #1 shooting machine on the market. Not only is it easy to use, not only will it give you the reps, not only will it work on your skill development, it's easy to put away. That's a great thing to do. And it's easy to use on your phone. So go over and check it out. Mention Coach Unplugged. They'll give you $350 off. Also, please go over and join teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. Putting up almost 700, where we're at 650 of these things. It costs money. It costs time. One way that you can give back is teachhoops.com. It allows me to keep the lights on. It allows me to do all this. It's a great resource. It's something I would have wanted as a young coach. It's a community of like-minded coaches. So go over and check it out. And let's head off to the podcast. Maybe we'll head off to the podcast. I think we'll head off. Here we go.
Yeah, so I wanted to work on some end-of-game stuff. And so I was wondering if I could give you a couple of scenarios. So I watched all your videos on the end-of-game stuff. There's really good stuff, the inbounds, all that type of stuff. Victory, the full court's great, the sideline. So I want to ask a couple of questions. So from my understanding of end-of-game philosophy, if there's like 3 seconds or something, that's when you throw it long, you try to hit the end-of-game type. But if you have 5 seconds or more, that's enough time to get the ball in and push up the court, right?
Yeah, and the rule is a second a dribble. So,
second a dribble, okay.
Yep. So so that's why they have to. So let's say there's 5 seconds. It means you can take 4 dribbles and you got to let it go. Maybe 3 dribbles and let it go. So whenever you diagram stuff up, you always got to be aware of that. But yes, it's between 5 and 6 seconds, I think, is where I like it. If I'm going any distance.
Could you give me the challenge I'm running into is what? Could you give me just a couple of like in the game plays you would run? You're not sure if they're going to be in a man or a zone. You need to push it up. At 5, 8 seconds. Like what type of options would you run?
So you want lots of curl. You want lots of movement and curls, not necessarily screens. If you set screens, you want them early. So as soon as the person gets handed the ball, you want a screen. But then you want I'll show you. So if you want, let's say you're here down and you're going this way. So what you want is the guys going or gals curling this way and catching it, moving in the right direction. So, you can set it up any way. You can set it up in a line or a box or whatever you need to do it. Sometimes I'll even just let's say you're here and just throwing it in. So I'll just do a basic line one. So what you might do is this guy might fake and just go. This one might set a screen and then you might curl, and then the last guy curl. You just want people moving. I was talking to somebody last night. I think the hardest part is finding someone to throw the ball in.
So I'm sorry, Coach. Are you doing sidelines in the game or
Yeah,
sidelines?
so it would be the same principle. Are you talking full court underneath the basket down here?
Yeah,
Yeah, so it'd be the
yeah.
same.
I was actually talking full court, full length
Yep.
of the court.
So this is
Play.
basically the same premise. So they're still going, 60 feet this way. So if you're going, let me draw it over here. So if you're going this way, so let's say you're going this way. So now what I normally do is I might set it up, I might set somebody deep, um, like this. And then if the person's throwing it in from here, I want people moving this way. You could do it the other way because they're right-handed. You probably have them curling the other way, but you just want them curling to the basket, because what's going to happen is you got to think about the defender's state of mind at this point. So the O's are the defenders. They don't want to get beat deep, right? So they're going to leave a cushion on their defender. That's an advantage for us. That cushion. They're not, if they deny, just send them deep and you're good. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So they're gonna leave a cushion here. So if I'm guarding X here and the guy's throwing it, so X is throwing it into X, and I'm going this full length of the court, I'm not gonna play this side of them. I'm not gonna deny them unless we need to turn them over. I'm gonna be on this side, and I'm not gonna let them get on the other side of me this way. So I'm always going to stay here. So that way, when you're catching the ball and moving in that direction, you'll have the momentum and the ball, and 1, 2, 3, go. So that's with like 5 seconds to go. You just want lots of movement. If you're talking home run things, 6 seconds.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
So like with 6 seconds, you can maybe even get it to half court. Maybe, do these curls, one dribble. If you got another timeout, get it to right here and then call timeout. Now you'll have like 3 seconds, and then all these sideline curls will work. Catch the ball, shoot. It is really hard to run a play 84 feet in, less than 10 to 12 seconds, probably, to run something where you're going to get a shot other than just a throw. Anything that happens down here, you just got to. I like the movement, and I like them having the ball and creating, because there's chaos at that time in the game. So I want them attacking the rim, looking for kicks, things like that.
So how about if you don't know what they're going to do? So say if the coach comes back and they've been playing you man, they go to a 2-2-1 press, or they go to a half court trap, or all the different scenarios.
All those curls are going to be the same movement, because think about, if they're in a 2-2-1, there's going to be even more. They're going to be able to even catch it moving faster, because there's going to be more space. So hold on. So if they were in like a 2-2-1, great. I'm gonna, then I might want, if they were like, let's say they were in a 2-2-1 and they were going this way, in the half court. And the half court would be about there. Fine, I'll do a 1-4, and I'm going to get my guys moving this way. They still got to defend them.
Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna. Yeah, don't worry. I mean, personally, depending on the score. So if they're up 1 or 2 and they're going to zone us, great. Then maybe we run something where we try to catch it at half court, or maybe we run something where we throw it long. Because there are some vulnerabilities. Most people won't go zone down the stretch. There's just too many gaps. There's too much space here in zones. So go ahead and do it. I'm gonna be able to exploit it more if you do that, because we're gonna be able to boom, boom, boom. Yeah. So it's something you want to definitely try at practice. Put them in a 2-2-1 and see what it looks like.
Okay. So if you're pushing it up, and then say that you've got 10 seconds or something, so you push it up, or maybe they're dropping back into a 2-3 zone, or they're not putting pressure on you. Is there can you give me just a couple of like a quick hitter? I'd really like to keep it in the hands of my point guard. I also have other good shooters, but is there a good just kind of quick hitter for a zone in a man that you'd run at the end of the game? Once you get it pushed up,
so you're saying they're in a 2-3?
Yeah, like a 2-3 zone.
Yeah, I'd go a high 1-4, especially if you want the point guard to have it. So the point guard to have the ball, and then you basically got to make them match up at this point. So go real high, and that will draw these guys up. And then what I would do personally, if you want the point guard to have the ball, I would I'd have these two set double screen, and I'd have them come up, and it's like, okay, are you going to follow me, or how are you going to guard? So you got to guard. There's two guys here. You could even put a guard at the high post. I would have both of these guys ready. I probably wouldn't do it that high. I would do it really low, but I would set a screen there and just let him go. Because what's going to happen is the defenders are going to have to actually it'd be this guy setting the screen. I would have this guy come up, and he as he drives, he's got to make a decision. This guy's got to make a decision. Is he going to defend the guy with the ball, which you say is really good, or is he going to defend this guy, which is going to slip, which is going to draw this one up, and basically it's going to make a match up at this point, because you're going to have four guys straight across. They're not going to leave these guys open. And then what you tell them is if the point guard dribbles at you, clear. So if this guy dribbles, so if that guy dribbles at them, they're going to have to basically you want a mismatch.
Oh, right.
So as the guy drives, okay, he's driving this way until I don't have my stylus. So this guy is going to clear down. So if you think about it in terms of a 2-3, there's only two guys on this side of the court. So they're going to have to match up. A high 1-4 will make them spread out and pull them up. And that's what you want. You want space against the zone, because this guy here is going to have, the middle guy is going to have to, even if they run a 1-2-2, those guys are going to have to make some decisions on, okay, am I going to stop this drive and let this guy get a shot right in here? Or am I going to step out and this guy's going to curl? Or is this guy going to step out and defend here? And then, so you're probably not going to get to the rim, but you'll get a good mid-range or three-pointer on that. If you just pull them really high on the 1-4. Doesn't matter what zone it is.
Okay, and so the top two guys, though, you'd have them screen the top two guys on the 2-3.
I would have both of these I'd have both of these guys ready to set up and screen.
On the outside, okay.
Like that. So, I would have them ready to do that, because and the thing is, they might be screening this guy that's on the top of the 2-3 or this guy that's on the top of the 2-3. So they might not come up here and screen. They might just do this. So it just depends on how he's going to play. Sometimes they'll stagger it, and this guy will come up, and this guy will come back. It will be more like a 1-1-3, which is great. Okay, then we're just going to come up and screen this guy. What are you going to do? Are you going to fight over it? Fine, then I'm going to curl, and I'm going to have an advantage at this point, because it's going to drag that guy up, and this guy's going to have to make a decision. This guy is the key, because what's he going to do? He's not going to stay down there. If he is, this guy's going to be wide open. Get him the ball, let him shoot it. So you just want,
so you
want
say
space.
Okay.
You just want
so
space.
if they do good, understood. So if it's like a 1-2-2, and then would someone be trying to screen the very top guy?
Yep, you wouldn't even screen the top guy. He would screen the bottom guy again, the two guy.
Just go.
Yep.
Okay.
This guy.
He would just screen that, and then
because if he screens that guy, this guy's irrelevant, because he's going to bump into him. So it's just like, all right, we'll just go around, and he's not going to want to follow him because they're in a zone. So he's not going to want to follow him to that wing. He's going to want to stick with him.
Right, and the other guy's kicking down. Okay, cool. And then also, could you give me one just end of game for a man in a same type of scenario? And I guess that would be the follow-up question is, if you're not sure if they're a man or a zone, is that something you could just try to run for
I would
both,
run the
exact
same thing against man, and then I would just overload a side. So I'd have that opposite wing come through. So, you can do either one. It doesn't really matter. But I'd stay in that high 1-4 like this. As this guy, I would have, so they're in man, I'd have him come up and screen. And then I'd have this guy coming through. And then I'd have this guy popping down as he drives, whichever direction he goes. Hey, Coach, I hope you're enjoying the podcast. If you are, there's a bunch of ways you can help us out. First of all, you can subscribe and like here and leave a review. Those are really important to us and help us get the word out about this great game. Second thing is, you can go over and check out us on YouTube, Teach Hoops. We have all sorts of videos we're putting up. About every other day, we put a video on Teach Hoops. You can also go over to our Amazon link, www.teachhoops.com/Amazon. Bookmark that every time. It's an easy way, free way for us to get a small little kickback every time you buy something on Amazon. It doesn't cost you anything, and it allows us to pay for our hosting fees, and you'd be surprised how expensive it is to do a podcast. And the last thing is make sure you go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. This is the time that all of us want to become better coaches. We ask our players to become better coaches, or better coaches. We ask our players to improve their craft. You should improve yours. So go over and check it out. Let's head back to the podcast. And then after he sets his screen, hopefully he's a shooter, I'd have him pop up high. So you're basically overloading a side. I would also possibly clear out a side if you want your point guard to be the guy to take the shot. So I'd have this guy stay, and then I'd have these two. I'd have this one come over and set a screen about mid here, and I might not even have him clear. I'd have him set a double screen for this guy clearing out, and then I'd run a 2-man game here. So if you want your point guard to have the ball, I'd start in that high 1-4. Let me show you that again. So 1's here,
Okay.
2. We'll call that 4, 5. I don't like positions, but we'll use numbers anyway. So I would have 2 coming off a double screen opposite. So 5 comes down, sets a screen. 3 comes down, sets a screen, and then he pops up. So 1 knows that he has him coming opposite that he can look for. Then 4 and 1 would play a 2-man game this way. So they'll basically have this whole side of the court cleared out. I've done that with my point guards before. It's just like, all right, I'm going to give you space to do stuff. And this guy's 4 is going to set a screen, and 1's going to go. And then 4 is either going to pop or roll, depending on what kind of player he is.
Gotcha. I thought I heard one of your podcasts too. Before, do you do the same setup, and then you could actually send 5, 4, and 2 to all screen for 3?
3. Yep.
Yep. And then just that leaves up all that space on one side.
You're basically all good quick hitters. If you watch NBA at all quick hitters are just trying to get space. You're just trying to find a little space where you can go, and then cross your fingers and hope you're lucky, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that would be my concern with like running a pick and roll at the end of the game, because we run a ball screen offense anyway. As they double team, because I imagine they're going to double team. So maybe
if they're going to double team your point, then that person setting the screen should either be a 3-point shooter, because then they can pop, or a big that can roll to the basket.
Okay.
And then if you're working on this in practice, then you definitely say, okay, here's what's going to happen. You're going to get doubled. That's fine. We want that, and then they got to be able to make that pass.
Gotcha. Okay. And then just a couple other things.
Yep.
This is probably a off the wall question, but it seems like in the end of the game, if there's like 3 seconds or so and the other team has the ball, that it would make sense for me to jump to a 1-3-1, because it'd be very hard to make that mid-court pass.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So if somebody did that to me,
I've always used zones at the end of games to slow teams up, because what happens is it takes them time to adjust.
okay.
So you could have 15 seconds to go and even go to a zone, depending on the score, and you just got to convince your guys that that's a good idea. I've had teams that it's harder to convince that this is good. We should do this. But it will definitely slow them up, and they won't be ready for it either. If you haven't run much of it and then you do it at the end, they won't be ready for it.
Right. Okay. I was going to ask, like, if someone does that to me at the end of the game, and like a 1-3-1,
get it to your point guard, get it to your point guard, and just go. Tell them to attack. If there's ever a time, because there's going to be times where you don't have timeouts. There's going to be times where you're in foul trouble. There's going to be all sorts of situations. Any situation, you want the ball in your player's best hand, and you want him attacking the rim. So you just want him going. Because you're going to hope for a call, you're going to hope for a shot, you're going to hope for them to stop him and him to kick. It's like you want the ball in Giannis's hands at the end of the game. You want the ball in whoever Harden's hands at the end of the game. So that's what you got to basically practice that. And sometimes it will work, sometimes it won't work. But then in practice, you can say, okay, what was good about this? Well, they triple teamed you. Should have kicked it to the corner. Oh, wait, you had a drive to the rim. Take it. So you just want to space them out in your normal offense and let them go. 3 seconds isn't much. You want space at that point.
Gotcha. So if they drop back into a 1-3 or whatever,
Get him the
just let
ball.
my
He's going to
point
take
get the
2
ball
dribbles.
and push it up
He's
and
going to
take a
take 2
shot or
dribbles,
whatever.
and he's going to shoot it. And then maybe you can even work on your shooting a 3 and falling down drill kind of thing. Like we need the foul call, whatever it is. But yeah, you just want him to have the ball at that point.
Okay, cool. And then the last thing that I was asking about that I saw on your video was just how to attack some of the combination. You reprimand me on calling it jump defenses, but calling it combination.
Yes.
So just the basic, because we do get boxing one on our point, that and just like a triangle and 2, and then just like a 3-2 matchup. Is there something general you do for all those?
No, the thing is you got to convince the person that's getting done that we're going to have to get some other people involved, and we want that person moving and cutting through. So I run my normal offense when I do this. That's fine. You got to run that against me. Because other guys are going to be open. So that's what you got to basically sell. It's like, okay, you're kind of our decoy. I've had this discussion with my son who can shoot deep threes. It's like after you hit a couple of them, then you've become a decoy at that point. You've opened up the other people. Because obviously you're doing something that's effective and you've hit like 3 threes in a row. They're not going to let you hit anymore. So what does that do? Well, you got to stay wide and space us. It's the same thing with a box and 1 or a triangle and 2 or combo D. But you want lots of movement. And then, I find it useful to have them in a corner. I find them useful to cut through the lane, all that kind of stuff. Setting screens when you're doing that is not a bad thing because someone's chasing you. So that person's going to have to decide if they want to switch it or they're not going to switch it. So setting screens is another good thing for them to do. But usually if that's happening, you're doing something right.
Okay. So like if they go to like a 3-2 matchup zone, are you running kind of the same? You can just run your man offense, or do you run
offense? If we're just running our man offense for the most part against a 3-2.
Okay.
Lots
so
of
does
cuts.
Does it make sense? Okay. I was just saying, does it make sense just to do something really simple, like a 2-2 set, and then just put a guy in the middle just to screen the 2 bottom guys?
It does, but then the problem is when you screen them, you're bringing them toward them, which is fine, but you just got to be aware of that. That's the first thing. And the second thing is just make sure, if it's a 3-2, you just got to make sure the guy inside is moving. They tend to get really stationary. So yes, maybe screen away, maybe screen the ball, do something. If they're standing for more than 2 seconds in there, then you got to get on them because it's just too easy for the zone to defend them.
Right. But I was just saying that, like, if they had, can you see this?
Yeah, move it up a little bit.
So
toward your head. There you go. Yep, I can see it now.
Good. So if I just have my set here, and then just have one guy in the middle, just kind of screening that's good. Outside, going back and forth. Is that fine?
Yeah, that will work.
Shots at the bottom.
Yep, that will work. Yep, that will work perfect. And then they could even come up to the high side of that and do it up there too. Yeah, just as long as they're moving and making the zone shift. Zones don't like screens. Zones don't like cuts, and zones don't like shift right to left. So if you get any of those 3 things going, you're going to be good.
Good for that. Okay. And then I'm sorry, I started so late and stuff. When's your next call? Are you pretty much done? You need to go?
No, I got to take my son into school. You got a couple more minutes. Go ahead.
Okay, just tell me when you need to go. Yep. I'll try to keep it short.
Okay.
Could you explain? I don't quite understand the difference between a matchup zone and I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I was just talking to my son. He just walked by.
Tell us I said hi. So what's the difference? Like we run a lot of 2-3 zone. What's the between a 2-3 zone and a matchup 2-3 zone? I'm not trying to I don't understand the difference.
The matchup means they're always responsible for a person, not a space. So it's basically they're gonna have areas like the top guy is not gonna ever beat on the bottom left, but they're gonna be in areas. And the way you can go to a matchup, I'll send you some stuff on matchups. I'll write myself a note. Because we kind of run a matchup. It looks like a zone, but it's really man principles. And they got, if you have a team that doesn't talk and communicate, you can't run a matchup because they got to basically hand people off. And, once someone leaves my space, I hand them off to another person. I grab somebody else from that's closest to my space. So if they're not a communicating team, I've tried to run it with teams that don't talk, and it's brutal. But if they talk, it's really hard to score against because it clogs up the middle. It leaves space outside more, but it clogs up the middle. It really does.
Okay. Well, I myself, I don't have any desire of trying to add it. It's just too much. But as far as recognizing it when the other team's running and what to do against it, I guess that's what I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, they'll follow them a little longer. Is what you'll know it's a matchup when they're following. It looks like it looks like man, but it ends up being zone. They'll follow the cutters farther along until they can eventually hand them off to somebody else down below. So I usually watch the guards up above. In a zone, they'll just let them go. They won't worry about them. In a matchup, they'll follow them and they'll be matched up with them until they can hand them off to a big guy or a wing or something like that. That's the difference.
Okay. And then what do you do against that?
I'd run my man. It's basically a man. I'd run my man offense.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically a man. You do the screens, do all the other stuff that you're doing.
Okay, so you really wouldn't do anything different for that?
I wouldn't. Okay. I wouldn't. I'll try to find some stuff on matchup. If you want to read it, I'll find some stuff for you. All right. Okay. Thanks, Coach. I'm glad you didn't die by the horses running you over at the campsite.
Hey, I really appreciate your time, Coach. Thank you so much.
No problem. Bye. Hey, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that podcast. Make sure you subscribe and like. Make sure you go over and check us out on YouTube, Teach Hoops on YouTube. It's a great channel, always putting new videos up there. Also, make sure you go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. Do you want to win that conference championship? Do you want to win that state championship? Do you want to win that tournament? Let me help you do that. Go over and check it out. Have a great day.